doing this job. It's quite a weird job, strange job. How about this? I recently got offered my first brand deal on social media. Thank you. Prominent sex toy company. Love Honey, okay? And I saw the message in my inbox and I was like, all right, they've seen me and they're like, this guy's having some sex. What do you want me to promote? Is it condoms or handcuffs? What is it, okay? £400 solo male masturbation device.
Hello, Tom Elwes.
Hello, Barry. How are you?
Thank you very much for coming on and talking about... How was the set downstairs? You've literally just stepped off stage. How was it?
It was actually lovely. It was really nice. They were really good. I mean, people say it all the time, but this is one of the best rooms in London. Everyone knows it.
Well, yeah, but you have to show up. You have to be good. You can't, because they do know if you're not good, you kind of it can go pretty...
But no one ever groans when they're doing this gig. You know, you never hear comedians be like, "Oh, I've got to do Bill Murray." Like, no one is saying that.
Yeah.
And that's that's a good thing.
Yeah, because there are rooms that are in London. There are, anywhere. There are rooms that are good for some people and not good for others. Like, there'll be some people that love Up the Creek, and there'll be other people that isn't right for them. And there'll be, some people that I know love Top Secret. It's not right for them. It's like, I'm not going to ask the question of which isn't right for you, because you're just like, no, I'd still like to get booked there.
Yeah, they're all amazing, and I love them all.
And so, you started off Clayhead.
To be here, you all seem like a very lovely crowd. Much nicer than the gig I did in Reading 2 weeks ago. Yeah, all for Reading. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I was at the bar after the gig and a man came up to me that I did not know who was at the gig and he went, "Oi mate, you know what you look like?" And I went, "No." And he went, "The big Clayhead from Art Attack."
How long have you been opening with Clayhead? So that was the moment where you kind of
That's just what I was bullied with as a child, you know? That's just...
Genuinely?
Yeah, of course. Oh my God, kids are cruel. And that's... And it took a little bit of a... You know what? I like that as a bit. I like it, but it works with an age demographic that is 27 to 45.
Okay, yeah.
Either side of that, you don't know what Art Attack is.
Yeah.
And I've learned this. Also, I actually know specifically what countries Art Attack was syndicated in because of that bit.
Oh, really? Where?
Portugal, huge.
You've done it in Portugal?
Yeah. No, but I'm gigging in London. You're gigging to enough people, and you can see the people who are confused. French people, very confused.
I feel like we should put an image of the massive Clayhead.
Oh, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
So your opener, do you have different openers? Like, for example, when Joel Dommett was around a lot, Joel Dommett's opener was always, "Come on, guys." He'd say hello, give me a gin, people be up.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Come on, guys, I'm missing Hollyoaks for this." That was always his opener, right?
Right, okay.
So much so that if you wanted to mess with, I've seen different MCs or other acts wanted to mess with them, just like, Hollyoaks, we'll do a Hollyoaks related bit before it goes on.
Okay. I feel like I've actually seen him do that on TV. Yeah.
Have you had different openers?
Yeah, loads, and I've tried loads, and openers suck, don't they? Honestly, it's a bit they suck because they it's just like a gig, a joke that you're gonna get a medium response for, and it has to be a good joke, but you're always going to get a relatively medium response for it, and it's always really tense, and you're always going to judge how the rest of the gig goes depending on how that one stupid line goes, right? Yeah.
So how was that tonight?
It was solid. It was good. It's once again that as an opener, because of the multinational crowd that you get in London. If you do that in Nottingham, instantly, yes, love it. You do that in front of a multinational crowd, so it's always interesting. But yeah, it was good. Worked. It's enough for people to get it, and that's what you want. I always thought you had an amazing, and I always remember this. Saying you look like the dragon from the Never-Ending Story. Oh, yeah. That is beautiful.
That's very, very niche. Very niche for certain people.
But I think good ones are niche.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I really do think the good ones are more niche. If it's like Princess Diana, it's just
So tonight, watching the gig, so that was your opener. How did you find when you're looking at, because it's quite spicy, there's a lot happening in the room, and like, did you think in your head, oh, I want to talk to people, I want to make sure that I don't talk to people? What was your, because...
I think, like, what was her name?
Mad Linda? Yeah. Did you chat to Mad Linda? I've forgotten.
I referred to her once.
Does that mean I'm very neurodiverse? You neurodiverse, sir?
No.
No. You just got that look about you. Mad Linda, you got a bit neurodiverse, you know? You got a bit in there, you know?
Do you like crowd interaction much? Or is it something... Do you MC much? I don't...
Yeah, I do a bit of
But do you like it?
I don't hate it, and I think... This is trying me to be like, I hate the audience, but like, I don't hate it, but I think like when it's adding value to the show, when it's just like, I think crowd work goes wrong in two ways. One, either someone she was good, and she was the right balance, right? She was the right balance of like, I'm going to join in a bit, but then I will shut up when...
She did shut up, I'll give her that. But I feel like she was one drink away from not shutting up.
Yeah, so I think it goes wrong for two reasons. One, when they feel like they're going to just pipe up constantly and now the show's a bit about them.
Yeah.
That's when it goes wrong. Or when someone's just like aggressive and...
Or just nasty, or just kind of like,
nasty.
Come on, we're having a conversation. It's like, you can't deal with that. But it's because the room, the contract of the room is that we're all doing comedy, right? And everyone's watching. And if you're not, then it's like, it doesn't work. You can't just, it's like in school. Because I really loved your school bit. So your bit that, I can't remember if I've heard it before, but it feels familiar, but it felt fresh today. So the bit about the neurodiverse kids.
When I was at school, I think things have changed now, but what they used to do is they used to get all the neurodiverse kids and then put us in this place called the bottom set. They just sort of chuck us... We were all in there together. We were like the Avengers, you know? Like together we can learn nothing at all, you know? I couldn't read as a child, you know? My life was not made easier by having a kid with ADHD next to me pretend to be an F1 car, you know?
How long have you been doing that bit for?
Oh, I don't know. A little while now. At least a year.
Yeah.
I was just talking about it because I actually went to a special school for neurodiverse kids.
Did you? Really?
Yeah. Like a proper like neurodiverse. I don't know what.
Because you were dyslexic.
In the old school days it would have been called a special school, but like now it's I did a school for educationally challenged children.
Really? For how long? Because you seem so normal now, Tom.
Oh, thank you. No, I did my last year of primary and like 1 year of secondary.
Wow, how is that? Because that's got to have been because what I find interesting about school in general is like, you know, like disabilities in the 1800s were like solved by glasses. And then suddenly, somebody's not blind anymore. But up until that point, and likewise with dyslexia, they didn't understand what it is.
No.
It was like, this person's thick. Yeah. You know, it was just like you were bunged into a thing with all the other...
There was also crazy rumours as well. When I was at school, it was like insane. This is 100% true, and I remember it happening so often. And I've spoken to other dyslexic people about this, but what they would do is they would give you like a piece of like coloured, like clear plastic. Yeah. This sounds really weird, but like a blue clear plastic, and you were meant to put that on the book you were meant to read, and that was meant to make you read. To a point that there was a girl in the class who was given a pair of glasses with like John Lennon. Like it was like absolutely insane. Like they don't do that anymore.
No.
That was just like crazy
that
rumour.
Was just like a rumour that went around the
early 2000s. They were like,
it's the QAnon of dyslexia. Just like you look through these and then
solved
conspiracy kind of like.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was actually really good, and
was it? Because the joke it's a really funny joke, because because it's true as well. Because they I mean, I don't know if they still do, but I think they still do. They just lump all the kids together that have different needs and just like, all right, well, you know, you can all sync together.
Yeah, you just figure it out.
Yeah, right? Just figure it out.
Actually, so I've been going to look at primary schools now with my son.
Oh yeah.
Right, and they don't, and like another part of why like that dynamic to that joke as well. I've been thinking about it is they actually are much more hot on being like, obviously we can't put someone on the spectrum next to someone with ADHD because it's gonna be a nightmare.
Explosive.
Yeah, and like they're much more, I think, on it now than they were when me or you were at school. It was just like, well, you all just fight it out, I guess.
Yeah.
It was the bottom set was crazy at school. A table was flipped every class. Like someone was losing it. Someone was getting pissed off.
I absolutely. I spent some time in those classes.
Yeah.
And they're proper. There's always one absolutely mad kid that he's just like, it's great fun until he goes. Did you ever have a kid at school that was the kind of the bully, the scary fucker, but every so often they became your best friend? Like they loved you for no reason whatsoever, but that's that terrifying thing, like they could turn at anybody.
You could kill me. Yeah.
They're like, I love you, Barry. Oh shit! I don't know what I've done to make you love me so much, but now I know I'm like one. You know, you say something. Yeah, what about that? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And then you're gonna be like under their spell the whole time, and you feel like, I'm with you, but like, one false little step, and you're gonna throw all my books out.
And how's that joke evolved then? So the joke about the being in that kind of neurodivergent, like the Formula One kind of, did that come out fully formed, or were you kind of like, what were the renditions beforehand?
The renditions beforehand, I think, were. It wasn't Formula One. That was a, oh God, it was pretending to be a fire truck or something. Like, and it's weird, isn't it weird? And that didn't work. Like, it was just like an average response, but like it's something about the Formula One notion that people just, I guess, like. I find that really weird about jokes. It's like such a simple little.
It's just a small thing. Yeah, totally. Like I suppose the Formula One is so active. You get the idea of the activity, whereas a fire truck is a little bit more like fire truck. It's a bit slower. It's a bit kind of like. It's a bit simple, whereas Formula One, you get this idea of this kid just fucking running around.
Yeah, that's more ADHD. It's pace,
and it's enjoyable because you kind of can enjoy it.
I did actually. I don't know why I didn't say this tonight, but I do actually have a line where it's just like, we're like the Avengers, but if all our powers will be incredibly distracting. Like it's.
Yeah.
We've each got a different ability, but none will help us learn. Like it's just like a crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That was the most modern take on a crew that I could think of that would be pummeled together with all different things going on.
Yeah, but that feels like a joke that would do well online. It feels like, so I talk about ADHD online, and a bit. I have material and I put it on, and I found that it kind of does meet. It goes quite well in certain things. Do you talk about that, your neurodiversity online much? Because I mean, you've got lots of different kind of things that you do. You do your podcast. You do like you're constantly making sketches online. You've got that kind of like. But would you do much of your stand-up online?
Put a couple of bits. But I've just paid.
That's a very reserved couple of bits.
Yeah, a couple of bits. But yeah, I've just actually got a great guy, an editor, because I just can't watch my own stuff. I can't do it. I just physically cannot. It repulses me to watch.
I mean, that's the same for the whole audience. They're watching.
Yeah, it's like but like I don't know. Some people love it, and there are some comics who will spend hours tinkering with it, but I just can't do it. And I have wanted to post more stand-up for a long time, but I was like, right, I'm just going to get someone who can chop this up and
Yeah, okay. And you found somebody, and you're happy with what they do?
He made one clip for me, and it did well.
Yeah.
I've only posted it on TikTok, still too cowardice to post it on Instagram.
Okay. And what's well for you? How do you know?
Well, I think like TikTok now, the way that the algorithm, like 20k, that's like a solid. I have a sort of like, if it gets over 10k, it will stay, and if it goes anything below that, it's gone. Can't keep it there.
Okay, and the clip, would you put that clip up then? So the idea about kind of like dyslexia or neurodiversity, is that the kind of clip? Do you have an idea of the stuff that you'd want to talk about and what you wouldn't want to talk about? Or do you just, because I know some people that are online that just no, you just throw it, and if it hits the algorithm, then it goes, and if it doesn't, gets forgotten about, doesn't matter. But then I know other people that carefully curate what they put on online, so they're like, no, that's not me, I don't want to put that.
I don't know if I have like a sample of. I've not posted enough stand-up to know, so I think I'm going to be in the camp of chuck and hope.
Chuck and hope.
Just chuck and hope, and I don't know. It's bad though, isn't it? We shouldn't live our life by an algorithm. But unfortunately, as a comedian, that's what we've been reduced to. Yeah, it's just like, we're just gonna, you know.
Well, but that's it. I mean, all of life at the moment is run on algorithm, including politics. It seems like everything's fucking run on algorithm. Yeah.
We're not better than politics.
No, exactly. That's where we are. Everything goes through how much engagement it gets. That's why Trump is president. It's so literally the amount. Look how much engagement Trump gets. Like he's the most engaged with president of any generation. It's just like every day that he's on the news. I mean, Biden would be on the news once every 2 weeks. Something would happen. He wouldn't be like, Biden's doing this, Biden that. Like Biden, Trump went to a golf course. Trump talks about it every single fucking time.
He is the news cycle.
Yeah, he is.
He is it.
He is. Yeah, he's owned it. But so when you're like what clip was it that did well on your? Was there anything you did tonight?
It wasn't something I did tonight, but it was something similar. It was talking about telling my partner's parents about having a baby.
Okay. Right.
And it did well and people enjoyed it, but it's just like I don't know. We had to tell my partner that we were having a baby via Zoom call, her parents, and it sucked. And the worst bit about that was it wasn't even just her parents. Like, her parents obviously were just like not happy. But then the worst thing was we then had to go around to all of her family members because they were all in Australia.
Because it's all on Zoom.
Yeah, it was all via Zoom. And then this is really bad, but her grandmother cried. Like it's genuine. Yeah, she just burst into tears. And I was like...
Happy or unhappy?
Unhappy. Just absolutely devastated.
You've ruined your life.
Yeah, literally. I'm not I really wish it wasn't like that, but she was just... Yeah, it wasn't good. But I can't blame them, and I've met them all now, and it's all been okay. But if you have an unexpected child with someone, and then your first meeting is telling them that you're having that baby, they're not going to take it well. It's going to be bleak.
That's so funny that did really well. That's what you're known as now. Extremely fertile, unlucky man.
Yeah, horrific stuff. That's no one wants to hear about the good times. They want to hear about the shitty. No one's there for that. I think we learned that in day dot as a comedian. No one wants.
Well, I suppose a lot of the stuff you talk about has that kind of tone.
Yeah.
Is there anything on that you're set tonight that you'd be like? So one thing, because you do sketches as well, and you're always creating that. Is there anything that you perform tonight that you're like, okay, so that works as a bit of stand-up, but it could also be a sketch. So it's something like that you'd mix with both, but you might do it in a different way.
I'm just trying to think of all the things.
So what did you do? You did.
Maybe something about Jeffrey Epstein, just because it was so...
It's kind of new and
popular and president, you could probably work something with Epstein.
I think the weirdest thing about the Jeffrey Epstein thing is of all the billionaires and rich people who have come out and had to admit to hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, they always say they were hanging out with him for the most obscure reasons, They're always like, well, I did know Jeffrey in the early 2000s, yes. I did go to the island, but I went for the premium level boogie boarding.
And so, obviously, that's quite new, Epstein, or was it old and then you recycled
No, that was I tried it yesterday, and here we are today. That's...
And how do you feel? Now you're building that, so that Epstein bit, you're looking at it. So from tonight, what did you learn from doing it tonight?
I learned that, people saying that they're there for boogie boarding is funny, and then I'm going to go home and think about other reasons or other weird excuses. I came up with that bit because I heard Alistair Campbell on his a clip from his podcast talking about having to admit to meeting Epstein, and it keeps happening. All these rich and powerful people, and they're all just so vague about it. They're like, a friend of a friend took me, and they were like, oh, Jeffrey, and it's all so vague, and none of these people obviously will ever admit any wrongdoing. They're just there for just saying hello. I'm not saying that Alistair Campbell did anything. I wouldn't suggest that, but you know what I mean. It's everyone is just vague.
Yeah, so I suppose it's that So you might go more into the vagueness, I suppose. Like if you're going to kind of talk, why does everybody have an Epstein story? Is also quite a fun angle. It's like, what, how? Like he didn't meet everyone in the world, did he?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like everyone at some point, and it's all men. No women have an Epstein story.
That's so true.
Like it's always men. Like no women like, oh, Epstein, we hung out at his boat. Yeah. It's always in. Oh yeah, I met him by chance a couple of times.
It's not young people. At no point has Justin Bieber been like, yeah, me and Epstein. Like it's always men aged sort of
40 to 60.
Yeah.
Like maybe 50 to 70.
Yeah. Who are exclusively rich and billionaires.
Yeah,
or billionaires who are
power.
famous.
And just like, yeah, okay, so, but you're totally different than the other rich people that were, okay, fair enough, all right.
And none of them will admit to any wrongdoing. They were just a friend of a friend, and I was there.
Maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want somebody that's literally going, me, Epstein, yeah, we were fucking kids together. Like, you want somebody to say, to just fess up to it. Me and Epi, we're fucking...
I respect it more if you were just like, yeah, all right, I was on the island for the kids. Yeah.
If anything, there were too few kids. I mean, I was like, you were just, or they go interview, is Rolf Harris still alive? But yeah. Like, no, he was too tame for me.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. I don't, all of that stuff around, I don't know what years Epstein was offering, but I have a friend who worked on, whose dad worked at the BBC, and he was a lighting guy at the BBC, and he worked on Jim Will Fix It. And my friend says, right? By the way, I've got pictures of me with Jimmy Savile.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My mum and dad took me to see Jimmy Savile in a which in my head feels like a sacrificial way, but it wasn't. There's just pictures of me and Jimmy, but I'm literally almost sat on his knee.
Do you feel
short shorts?
Do you feel a bit aggrieved that he didn't choose you?
Yeah, I know precisely. I was a pretty attractive kid actually.
Yeah,
I wasn't an attractive kid. My teeth was probably terrifyingly big for him, but I kind of like, I'm not going anywhere near this kid. But what was I talking about? Savile. So my friend dad's worked at Jim Will Fix It, and he said his dad would work on different shows, and the only show that he wasn't allowed to come into was Jim Will Fix It, because back then in the 80s they didn't, because you couldn't prove if you had sex with somebody, there was no DNA, there was nothing else like that, so the only way that it seems like they dealt with it was to, don't go near your Uncle Jimmy, or don't go near. That was it. You just got to stay away from the weirdo.
It's not naughty weird man,
I mean, literally, the way they used to deal with pedos is that kids used to shout "pedo" at them that when they're at the gates masturbating. That used to be the 80s. That's the way the 80s kids.
They got you.
That's why you have to run fast. You fucking, But yeah, So if you're working on an Epstein bit, if you're doing that, like, are you kind of like, would you, how would you write? Would you be off writing it again? Would you be doing it tomorrow? Like, what's the...
Yeah, I'll go off tomorrow and like think of like different angles and takes and like all the angles you can come at it. That was the one I settled on, but though I had a bunch of others that went not great. There was, I don't know, what was the other real... I thought, something I tried last night. It was just like, so Trump's distraction techniques. So he's, every time someone brings up Epstein, he's like, we got to get the real sugar back in Coke, or like we got to something crazy,
something mad.
Yeah, and I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if Epstein was the reason we got aliens? That would. We get UFOs because of Jeffrey Epstein would be quite a...
just like, over here, look over here.
Yeah.
That's when the nuclear war starts, just like when the Epstein...
Yeah, he would rather release the UFO files than Jeffrey Epstein's files.
Well, he's closed Congress for it. But so your writing technique though, would you be sitting down with a piece of paper? Would you be walking around thinking of it? How would you sit down and write, or how would you be looking at coming up with ideas for it?
So I used to just do like El Clasico, like joke web, right?
Joke web, which is come up with a central theme and then off all the associations you can have, and then the other theme, all the associations, and seeing whether it mix.
And seeing and finding the what incongruity is that what the Americans call it. But that works to an extent, but actually then you have to go, and I find it best to talk the bit out loud, and then I'll come up with things that way, lines for it that way, and like just talking it and saying it and like thinking about it and then like talking it again really helps. I find genuine. This is, I don't know, maybe it's a dyslexic thing, but if I don't talk a bit out loud, if I just write it and then try it on stage, it's always shit.
Okay.
It's always just
come. Hear yourself say it.
I've got to hear myself say it, otherwise it just comes out so bad.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I would love just to be able to like, and then just be like, okay, good to go, but I just can't do it.
Well, one of the things I find interesting, because I don't know when you started. How long have you been going?
2017.
2017, right? And so you came out of the gate pretty. You were coming out. You had some longer bits. You had this great bit about ease, taking ease at the nightclub, and it was it was an extended bit. It was a well written bit, really well performed. It was like so you were naturally very kind of what's the word, expressive on stage, and you moved around a lot. But something I spoke to you after the pandemic, and I think it might have been to do with the birth of your first kid, is like you kind of doubled down. You were writing a bit, but then you just really started writing more. You kind of you were saying that it kind of accelerated the fact that you got to take it seriously, and you've really got to. And right now you're kind of putting out sketches a lot online. You're doing a lot of writing. And how has that been for you? Because it has worked. It's like you've really, there was a time, I think maybe about 18 months ago, when we were having that chat, and you were putting stuff out. Some of it was working, some wasn't. But I'm really curious as to how you see that journey and what you feel worked for you in that, and what you learnt from, because it's really accelerating. Like we were talking earlier today, just before the gig, about you're getting advertisers coming to you, and you're getting some money in from that. So which is a totally different place than you were 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And that, but that also comes from like the application of effort of going, right, I'm just going to really buckle down and work.
You just got to treat it like a job. I know it sounds really boring, but like if you just like, I think with comedy there are people who are literally quite willing to die, to do it, and there are people who are like producing way more content than I am. Like I've got 190 posts on Instagram. There are creators with 2,000 posts, like you've got to be just, you just got to knuckle down and like really focus and treat it like a job. There's no other way around it. And the same with writing of stand-up. Like there are comedians who'll write for hours every day, and it's just like, I can't do that. No chance. But if I can commit and do half an hour a day or something, it's just like it's that really being like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make money from this. It's got to be a job, It's got to be like let's just really go and try and really just and I could be doing way more, way more. I feel like every day I'm not doing enough, and I'm a massive failure. I'm sure we all have been through that space, but there are people who just like will quite literally die for it. So you got to be just working whenever you can, kind of thing.
And like in your day-to-day now, like because you've got kids, how do you find a time to do that then? Where, like, do you literally say, okay, so I'm going to work at 1 o'clock for half an hour, or do you, the baby's asleep, right, just absolutely kind of like I'll do it whenever, or is it just all of those?
It's all of the above, and if you're going to be a comedian with kids, have a really understanding partner who is going to have a real job, because that will help massively.
But you are also a stay-at-home parent then, both. They've got.
Our child we put him in, he's in nursery, so that's, you've got time free. But in that time free, you've got to think like, if you can be home in the day and you're paying for your child to be at nursery, which is extortionate, and the government should do something about that, then you've got to make that time work, right? Yeah. Because if you do nothing all day, when you just be like, nah. Like, before having a child, being a comedian, I was like,
I'll get around to it.
I'll get around to it. I'll do what I can. But like now you're like, okay, I know I have 3 days here, right? I need to be making X amount of sketches. I need to be writing X amount of stand-up, because getting to go off on the weekend and gig, I've forgotten the comedian's name, it's really going to annoy me, but he's a great American comedian who said like, writing's the work, you know, and the performing's the fun,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like it's just writing and working for that
Yeah.
that weekend, and I kind of, I mean, I'm not perfect and I fail all the time, but I try my best to just be like, okay, let's just try for these 3 days to really, really put in a shift, because otherwise what are you paying for, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I think, like, if you've got kids, like, what are you paying childcare for? You should just be looking after them.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get to be with your kids and also save money, so what are you doing?
Yes. Yeah. And your particular, say, the sketch writing, look at the sketch stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, when the kids at like nursery daycare,
Yeah.
you've got kind of 3 days. Are you kind of writing and filming in that, and you're just like, have you got very adept at a setup of just going, all right, okay, this is the idea, there's enough in that idea, right, okay, so, and I'm going to film this angle, because you're writing a lot on topical stuff.
Yeah.
So I say that you're probably putting out a lot of, it's quick, you have to put things out quite quickly, is that right?
Yeah. So I work a lot with my brother. He's smarter than I am, and our group WhatsApp looks insane.
Okay.
Well, not our group WhatsApp, just our WhatsApp messages look insane, but it's just me pitching him sketches, and then he's brutal, he'll just reply shit, or like, you've got something, and then maybe, you know, he'll think of some lines or two, you know, like, so
you've got, he's your it's almost like he's your collaborator on it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and I oh my god, like I'll pitch him so many things, and then and sometimes I'll be so, I don't know if you find this. You're like, this is so good. You're like, you write something, you're like,
oh
this,
yeah.
This
the
is
one you like.
This is genius. Like, you've like, I've written the best sketch of all time. This is gonna kill. And then you'll send it to someone, they'll be like, shut up. Like, what is that? What even is that? That's nothing. That's embarrassing.
Especially if it's a brother, because they'll be brutal. Older or younger?
Older.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 6 years
So,
older.
does he must like it, the fact that you kind of like have that kind of connection that you can kind of play around?
Yeah, we work a lot together.
Nice. Has he ever done comedy, or is he?
No. He's a very good writer. He's a very, very good. He works for charities, doing like media for charities. But he's a very, very good writer. But he's not. He would never do stand up.
He's a copywriter, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's very good to have that feedback.
Yeah, there was of the other stuff that you were doing today. I was curious about, like, because you talk about the Love Honey thing as well, of getting advertised.
How about this? I recently got offered my first brand deal on social media. Thank you. Prominent sex toy company. Love Honey, okay? And I saw the message in my inbox, and I was like, all right, they've seen me, and they're like, this guy's having some sex. What do you want me to promote? Is it condoms or handcuffs? What is it, okay? £400 solo male masturbation device.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. The Aucton, it was called.
The what?
The Aucton. It was called.
Aucton.
Yeah.
And they hang on. So they sent you masturbator.
No. So they messaged me and they said, "Look, we've got this product, the Aucton, which is a male masturbation device."
Right.
And they were like, "Can you promote this? Can you be?" Yeah. And I think, as I said in the bit, like, the most depressing thing about all of that was, at some point there was a meeting and my picture came up and they were like,
Who could shift some of these units?
Yeah, this is the guy. He's going to be the face of male masturbation.
Yeah.
That bit's not complete, but like, I just found it's just so tragic, isn't it? It's like there's something so tragic about, and it shouldn't be. You know, we should be proud masturbators, I guess, but there's something so just tragic about male sex toys that isn't there with female sex toys.
No. There's no empowerment there.
No.
Nobody's. And
it's just pure loneliness. You know, that's all it is.
If I had another option, I'd take it. It feels like if women, you've got other options and you're choosing this. Men aren't choosing that.
No.
Nobody's like, I'm just going to crack one out with the
Auction. I think that the value, that how expensive it was as well, I think that's what kind of makes it more fun. Because like, if you're willing to spend £400, that is you are not talking to girls. You know, that is like, if you're willing to spend £400, you've gone all out on that.
But I mean, I suppose what they did, they looked at you. They didn't just think you're a wanker.
Yeah.
They thought you were a rich wanker.
Yeah. And they also thought I could sell wanking to other people, which is even more. They're like, this guy
can absolutely, he can walk the talk. You know?
But they did.
Wank the tank.
They sent me all these like videos of these like, you know, super pretty female like shiny influencers doing it all sort of shopping channel style. You know, it's like it's cute and it's small and you know all that. And I was like, well, I'm not
going to do that.
I'm a guy on the go. You know, when I need a wank, you know, that's
always got this in my back rucksack. You know.
funny.
I've always got the orca in my rucksack.
Yeah.
That's a big rucksack you got there.
Yeah.
Why is it vibrating?
Yeah.
Don't ask that question.
But there was something so tragic about like if one of your mates had that's like the worst, most embarrassing thing that could ever happen to you.
I mean, it's a great thing to. I mean, if you had excess numbers of those, that's a great practical joke to play on somebody. You get a fleshlight, right?
Yeah.
and you pop it in. So when you walking past somebody random and just pop it in their backpack. That or like I do like the idea of kind of that somebody pranking you to ask you to advertise a masturbator. Like that's you get it's almost worth setting up the website wankers.com or whatever it is, and then contacting different people and just going, could you sell this for us? That's a really horrible thing to do. There's and who else is so because you mentioned like I think you didn't mention it on stage, but you mentioned like Pontins or something like that was like a theme park or something.
Yeah. What that I had worked with.
Yeah, or you got advertising offer.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you do it much with different companies, and what do you kind of like?
I'm about to have a second child, so slightly more recently, but generally I try to be relatively selective about what I want.
I like the way that was your response. Like up until for the first child, I've been selective. When the second comes in, it's all like, wanking.
Yeah, it's all I'll take if you're paying on there. But
I just like the idea that it's your girlfriend's family that's sending you masturbating tools. And it's like, actually, could you use this? That'd be great if you could, like, keep it in your fucking pants.
Yeah. You have an auction. That bits and bobs with brands. I feel like that's the way with comedy now, isn't it? It's like you can either go, are you going to go a commercial route or are you going to do a Patreon? And that's you got to decide. Like,
yes. Well, you can do both, but I do wonder like what your relationship to that is, because it's interesting because like different comedians have different responses. Like Bobby Mayer is so enjoyably. You pay me to do a thing, I'll do it. I need to eat. You know, no fucks given. You know, just like that. But then other people will be very selective and very this. I don't know. This speaks to me. It's like, I do think it's a symptom of how long you've been doing it and how much you need the money. Some people, I often think having a safety net or having enough money behind you gives you the luxury of being having the choice. Do I take this or do I not? But actually, you need to make ends meet at the end of the.
So I'm in a gambling commercial with
Yeah.
Chris Rock's in it, so you know. Again, so I'll do that.
Well, he needs the money. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Chris Rock. I mean, I can't imagine. Yeah.
Tough. So I did that. I'm in it for.
Did you meet Chris Rock? No.
Yeah, I did a scene. I did a scene with him. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. We stood opposite each other. It was. I spoke to him about gigs and stuff.
Nice guy.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Short. They're always we're actors, always small.
Yeah.
But yeah, seemed like a nice guy. Like spoke a lot, made a lot of Diddy jokes. It was around that period of time. Made a lot of Diddy jokes. Very very nice guy.
Did you make Chris Rock laugh?
To be honest, when you're on set, we film for.
It's not casual. Yeah.
We film for like 3 days. So they shoot all your scenes, not with actual Chris Rock.
Yeah. Okay.
So anytime Chris Rock has to talk, they'll film it. Anytime you have to do anything or talk, you're doing it with a guy who looks vaguely like Chris Rock, who's the same sort of like height and size as him. So I spoke to him a little bit about comedy. I was like, I'm because we had to do this one thing. We were just literally like this for about 2 hours, and in the end, I had to be like, I'm really high. Also, I should say I was wearing a cricket helmet and dressed as a cricketer, which didn't help. So it wasn't like,
Yeah.
But he seemed like a really nice guy. You know, he was funny. He was making all the extras and everyone laughed. So
nice. So he was being kind of playful and engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
so
being a dickhead.
I would do gambling. I turned down a lot of money, and this doesn't make me a hero in any way, shape, or form, because who would do this? But a Russian vape company.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of money? Why did you turn down a Russian vape company?
Because I just felt promoting death to children was that was
Is
my
that what it
limit.
was doing? Hey kids,
Well,
they're not children.
Yeah, I love vapes. Yeah, that was the limit, but it was a lot. Of
How
money.
much did you turn down?
I don't want to say.
How many figures was it? Was it?
It was a lot. Yeah.
Wow,
It was a lot.
okay.
It was a lot. Yeah, but it was like a multi. It sounded like it was going to be like on so many different platforms and whatever. Also, like you can't even promote vapes. You can't be like so. It was going to have to just be like casually, just like talking. So like, hey guys. Yeah. Anyway, oh god, that cool cherry taste.
I suppose you don't vape either. Do you?
No, I don't. Yeah. So I wouldn't promote actual death to children, but yeah.
Okay, you got
moral. What a guy. Yeah.
But the fleshlight.
Oh,
I'm in.
hey.
When you're like generating stuff at home, when you're putting stuff together, when you're coming up with sketch ideas, do you ever just kind of go, I've got to take something out, I've got to put something out, so I'm just going to go with that? Or are you kind of like a lot more decisive, and do you have a schedule? Like, do you go, I've got to do 3 a week? Or how do you, what are your deadlines and what are your motivations?
On TikTok, yes. So I treat my TikTok like it's
Testing
open
ground.
mic. Yeah,
Okay,
I just chuck any old crap out on there. Not that it's any old crap, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just I will just fling.
But you're playful with it. You're less precious about it.
I'm less precious about it. Other platforms, I'm a bit more to my detriment. I think it's you should just be chucking it out everywhere and not worrying about it and just accepting that if it's not good, then no one will see it anyway. So who cares? So, but. I'm a bit like, I think it's just like you've got friends and family on Instagram, right? Or or like you know.
There's more stakes.
Yeah, there's
People
more
are
stakes.
watching. People are watching.
You know, it's just like, you know. Whereas if you know it's done well elsewhere, then you can. Generally, the way I treat it is like if you know it's done well on on TikTok, it's probably going to do good elsewhere because TikTok will pay you now, so they're a bit harsher with their views. So they won't just. If you're in the creative program and you can potentially get paid, they're only going to push it if it's like going to do well.
Yeah, okay. So they're selective and also have a bit of quality control.
So I've had bits of content that I've posted on different platforms, and then so I've had lots. If something does well on TikTok, 9 times out of 10 it's going to do good elsewhere. I've had lots of things that on the rare occasion that I've posted elsewhere and then tried to post on TikTok and just.
Well, okay.
Would not do well. So
okay. Yeah. And how do you think those platforms are different for you? Like in terms of what would you? Are there certain things you'd be like, actually that's right for me on TikTok, but not right for me on Instagram?
No. There's similar. I wouldn't think that any. Maybe you're slightly skewing a bit older, but my audience, your audience is always just a reflection of you, right?
Yeah.
People who like your stuff is just like. People in a similar age demographic and live in a similar area as you. That's just, you know, like you wish that you were somewhat cooler than that, but it's not. You're just like actually no. They're just like people who like you because you're talking about similar stuff to what's going on to them. And like, thank you so much for anyone who does like my stuff. I really appreciate it. But it's. Yeah, you're not just suddenly gonna have like a huge like Korean fan base.
It's so funny though when you do. I know a particular person that just became very popular. He's 35, and he works with a couple of other people, and they became very popular with teenage girls.
Oh really?
And it's the most awkward kind of dynamic. Because it's not something that he enjoys whatsoever.
Well, like a comedian?
But when I say teenage girls, from like teenagers, not teenage girls, boys and girls, from like 14 onwards. And so you go to their gigs and it's just really young people that absolutely love them, and it's such a weird vibe. And they're friendly and they love it, but you know, he loves it and it's nice. But it's also kind of like, well, their audience is not like them at all. And it's I think that's, but like if you could choose then career-wise what you would like to go on to do, because you're writing, you're doing you're kind of you're working in film, you're working with Chris Rock, you're doing some advertising, you're doing loads of different types of work, you're doing stand-up. Like, if you could choose, because at the moment you're taking kind of like an approach of like, okay, you can do all these things and you've got all these skills, so let's just do what everyone wants to do. But creatively, if you could choose to do a particular thing, what would you be doing more of, and what would you be doing less of?
I'd love to sell a TV show. That would be the dream. I wouldn't even want to be in it. I'm so unprecious about being...
So you'd write it? You'd be able to
Yeah,
write.
that would be the dream. And like, to be able to just, write a show with people in a room and have it put out, like that's got to be the... I think that's the reason I even got into stand-up. Is I always just wanted to have that and like be in a room and write stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm not super precious about like, I've got to be the star of my own show and it's going to be about my life and my narrative.
Yeah,
I'm like, whatever, man. Like, it just, to be able to just write a show would just be incredible and like get it sold and made, like that'd be great. But like, what is even selling a show anymore? Where would it go? Who knows? I don't even know what that is or what that even looks like. Probably end up a micro drama on TikTok. That's the fastest growing production company in the world. So you know that.
Is it really?
People who make micro dramas, they're like soaps, but on TikTok.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Like what?
That's depressing, isn't it?
What does that mean? Soaps on TikTok.
It means 1 minute episodes, or just over 1 minute episodes, so they can get the revenue with a cliffhanger at the end of every minute to keep people engaged.
Really?
Yeah. Huge.
Wow. Okay.
Just imagine like an episode of EastEnders cut up. Like, people love it. They go crazy for
just
it.
like cliffhanger.
Yeah. Hard to write that, I would say.
Yeah, my God, yeah.
That's got to be complex. Like, how would you even begin to?
Yeah.
But very popular.
Okay,
Like, all of Hollywood is going down, and there's few production companies that make these micro dramas.
Wow.
Huge. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because everyone's concentration is down.
Yeah.
I suppose. But I suppose if you were going to write something, it'd be quite personal. Like, all of your stuff comes from your own life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your stuff about the Australian girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that's the second thing you spoke about on stage.
Yeah.
Today.
I've got an Australian girlfriend. Have we got any Aussies in? One. Oh, yeah. It's also a very masculine culture. I didn't realise this before dating my girlfriend, and it's weird seeing toxic masculinity in my girlfriend, yeah? I remember the first time I told her I loved her, she just punched me in the arm and was just like, "You're a legend, mate." And
You know, that immediately goes very well. Like, in the room, it's a lovely kind of feeling in the room, like you share that. So you often talk about personal stuff.
Yeah.
So, and do you think if you wrote a TV thing, it would be potentially, you know, autobiographical in a way?
Do you want really lame show that is, well, hopefully one day we'll get made, but almost certainly won't. I don't know. Yeah, I wrote a TV show from the perspective of my dog. That's the thing. It's like a kid show from the perspective of my dog.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
There's that. Have you written it? Have you pitched it?
Yeah.
Have you put it? Where did you put it?
Completely written, pitched, everything. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Hang on, that's a micro drama right there. You just have to go from crotch level.
Yeah.
The dog is what kind of dog you got?
Cockapoo.
So, yeah, little kind
Little
of like
thing.
shin level.
Yeah.
Like whatever's happened to the dog. The thing is, a dog-based drama is going to be so distracted by food. Like, you can watch what's happening and then, biscuit.
Gone. Yeah, I've written actually a lot of scripts in my time. A lot were really bad, really terrible. I feel like when I was a year into comedy, I was like, it's time.
Yeah,
and I wrote,
yeah.
quite frankly, some of the worst scripts of all time.
But that's what you have to do. You have to write.
And you realise you're like, oh, this is absolute trash. But I suppose it's like stand-up. Like, it's all just trash, and then eventually you find something that's all right. I don't know.
And just to come back finally to the kind of the girlfriend bit, the girlfriend material, like, how has that evolved, that particular bit? Because this kind of, all right, mate, the kind of physically intimidating kind of, like, is how true to life is that? Because it feels very true.
No, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's like my girlfriend is quite like that, but it was really even when we were first dating, being in and around her friends.
Yeah.
They are, I mean, I say this nicely, they're feral. Like, absolutely, they're like feral. I remember being in like a party or a gathering or something, and we were in like this basement, and I was with it was all her girlfriends, about 12 of them in this room, and like one of their boyfriends came home with like some Doritos, and he kind of like threw it in, like, and they were like velociraptors, like, and they like ripped it apart. I was like, you guys are terrifying. Like, this is one of the most terrifying places I've ever been.
The frightened English boy.
I was very out of my depth, but So all of that is true. I remember, one of our early dates, like our friends like trying to maybe convince me to drink a pint out my shoe. That was the big thing, like a shoey.
A shoey?
Yeah, that's what they call it. And like, I didn't want to do it. And like, as I said, toxic masculinity. They were all calling me a pussy. They're like, you got to fucking...
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. And they're like, no, you got to do a shoey. And I was like, oh, I don't know you. Like, it's...
I don't know you.
Yeah.
Please don't make it. You made a program. You got to do a shoey.
Yeah, you got to do a fucking shoey. Yeah. But... Yeah, friends are they really are like that. Like and it's a very interesting. I would say actually in Australia the men are much more chilled than the.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a blanket stereotype, blah, 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 but it's the dudes are much more like right, and the girls are like that's so crazy.
Well, that's interesting because it's like I think the way that your brain thinks, like look at all of the stuff, all the bits we talked about from today. They're very cartoonish. Like you naturally go very cartoonish, which I suppose does also help with the sketch stuff as well. Like you have a keen eye for exaggerating a characteristic. Yeah. Would you say that that's one of your kind of techniques that you kind of like naturally do? I always think somebody's technique is always something that they naturally see, and it's just like, well, let's lean into that. Yeah,
and just finding that if you find that observation that makes people laugh, then just go with it. Yeah.
Because you do a lot of observations. You're always looking for things, I suppose.
Yeah, and like things that are just weird or like odd or that just happen to you, and you're like, wow, that's clearly funny, isn't it? Like, that's, And then just like I suppose like comedy's just like realizing that like you got to be kind of low status, right? You got to be like you're the idiot. You are like am I?
We are the idiot.
Yeah. And there are some, I'm jealous, I'm envious of people who are not, You ever see people get out there and they're just like, I'd love to do that and just shit on people. That'd be great, but no, that's just not funny. It's just,
well, it feels like a different era as well. It's like, I don't know, are there people?
There are people who do it.
Yeah.
Like, and you can be that sort of like, but it's just not going to work for me and what works for me and what people find.
Well, I know, even in your relationship, I don't want it. Still. So if people want to see you, if people want to find you, tell me your portfolio of the stuff that you do, because there's quite a lot. So, go on, you've got your podcast?
No.
Oh, you stopped doing the podcast?
We stopped doing that like 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Fuck, okay, sorry.
No worries. What have we got? Yes.
How come you stopped doing that? Because that worked, it was good.
Yeah, but we didn't make money.
Oh, okay, so there's... Well, the thing is, it's tough to do anything and devote time to something if there's no money coming in, because however much you enjoy it, it's just like I've got.
We had a lot of overheads. That was the big thing.
Yeah.
Like we had like editors, we had like studio fees.
That's a shame.
No, it was. We occasionally, very randomly, we do like every 6 months we do like a check-in with everyone, and it's good, and people who liked it really.
But it's still online. They can see the.
Oh yeah. Go oh my god, it's like 1,000. Probably should remove quite a few of them, but it's like that's a lot. But you can do that. Follow me on Instagram. That'd be.
That's
really
the
helpful.
main thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to Edinburgh this year, but I think next year is going to be the debut. I think I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
I keep putting it off.
Yeah.
Because of children, which is fair enough. But
you can take kids up there as well. It's actually not a bad place to have kids.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of distraction there. There's a lot going on.
This year will be the last year before my kid goes to school, so it'll be the last time I can do it when I'm not taking away from summer holidays.
Yeah, true.
So I just think got to do it. Yeah. Also, what are you waiting for? You've got to get on with it. And just
yeah.
And you're not expecting anything from it, but just say you can say, oh, I've done the Fringe.
Yeah.
How many times have you been up?
Of 20.
What?
Yeah.
You've been to 20 times?
Yeah, but I
How do you have 20 different shows? How do you come up with that?
But no, I didn't have 20 so I went when I was 15 the first time.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I've been really kind of doing it. Because I hitchhiked to Edinburgh. Well, I didn't hitchhike actually. I got a lift from a promoter. So I was doing a gig in London, and I got into the semi-final of So You Think You're Funny. Yeah. And it was chosen back then. There wasn't enough comedians. So back then they just go, oh, a promoter has recommended you for this. And so I found out that I got into the semi-final of it just by
who was in your heats?
Well, put it this way. Lee Mack was in.
Okay.
Right.
Whoa.
Guess who won?
Yeah. Okay.
You know, one of us was a multi-millionaire comedian, and the other one's here. Right. Anyway, so I knew that's probably on TV right now.
Yeah.
But
doing the wheel,
doing
quiz of sorts.
being a national treasure.
Yeah.
Like the promoter in London that I was like, oh yeah, are you going to Edinburgh? I can't really go because it's, you know, I'm 15. Well, I was actually 16, but I was 16 at that point. So the first time I performed in Edinburgh was 16, and she said, well, I'm driving up there tonight. You can come with me if you like. So I phoned my parents and told them I was visiting Edinburgh University.
Oh, really?
And then she took me up and I stayed in Musselburgh with her for 2 days.
Can I ask what year that was?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. No, but it's just like, that's so mad.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
So you went up. You stayed for 2 weeks in Musselburgh?
No, I didn't stay for 2 weeks. I stayed there for 2 days.
Yeah.
A day and a half. She paid me up front for 3 gigs, and it was the maddest thing. I didn't have anywhere to stay.
Yeah.
And I just was I was a nerdy kid. I wasn't nerdy. I was from Dorset. I just didn't know how the world worked. So there was one night, right, where I was in the Pleasance, just with the water, and because I'd done a gig with Sean Locke, I just went, oh, there's somebody I know, and went up to Sean Locke, started talking to him, and then he kind of didn't not talk to me, but then he was talking to Jeff Green,
right.
And I was just there, stood next to him, kind of laughing and trying to be included in my head, and then Bill Bailey came over, right, and goes, oh, we're going for pizza. Do you want to go for pizza? And they both went, yes. And I went, can I come? And they went, all right. And then I get into a cab, and I'm in a cab with Frank Skinner, Bill Bailey, Sean Locke, Jeff Green.
Were these people who they are?
No, they're not who they were now.
Okay.
Now they were really good comedians and they were big on the circuit, but they weren't famous.
Right, got it.
Frank Skinner was. Frank Skinner was the one person from fantasy football, and I went to a restaurant, and I didn't have any money. I'd never been to a restaurant before.
That's so funny.
I was come from a working class family. We didn't do restaurants. Yeah. So I ordered the cheapest. I was literally looking at what's the cheapest thing on the. So I ordered the bread. The side, whatever it was. And I remember I was sat next to Bill Bailey. At one point, Bill Bailey kind of turns to me and goes, so what do you do? And I said, A-levels. And he went, oh, okay. And then I remember distinctly, I went to the toilet at one point, and I came back, and there was that silence over the table. Because full well, I left, and everyone was like, who the hell is that kid? Is that kid with anyone? Just like...
Who bought this kid?
Yeah, who bought this kid? I don't know, he's just here.
Yeah.
That was a bit... that happened. But listen, mad kind of histories. But you got to do Edinburgh. You got to do it. You got to do it as a show.
But it doesn't annoy you. Like I just thought that kind of stuff would never happen now.
No, but it doesn't. But one of the reasons why I started this club is because there was a load of unpaid tens. Because when I started, there used to be if you're a new act, you're on a main gig with somebody. Like my first gig was with Simon Pegg was headlining. And he wasn't Simon Pegg then, but he was still a headliner. My second gig was with Matt Lucas, who was a headliner.
I didn't even know Simon Pegg was stand-up.
Yeah, he did stand-up for a bit. And he was good, he was solid. But, he got into TV quite quickly and was in a sketch show, Big Train. And but you got to hobnob with the other main comedians, whereas you don't do that anymore. This is kind of underclass of the open mic circuit, so you don't hang out. And there were lots of paid, like my third gig was paid because I could do it. Like somebody said, oh, do you want to do 10 minutes? I'll give you 25 quid to do it in Midsummer Norton. It's literally my third gig. And you have to work for 3 years to get your first ever paid gig. And it's really changed. And one of the reasons I started Angel was I realised, I was frustrated with the fact that the circuit was being eaten up by agencies. But there were a load of brilliant acts that weren't getting paid. I was like, you know what, let's run a free gig, and then we'll, the bucket money, we'll make sure you get paid from the bucket money, like if people were doing their proper material. And then, because there were loads of brilliant acts, and that's where this came from, because this is why the gig only does 5 and 10 minute slots, because it's like, well, because those aren't, you don't have paid 5 and 10 minute slots around the country, whereas it used to be all over the place. You'd always have a new act. Often you'd have somebody trying stand up for the first time with every comedy gig, and it's such a shame that you don't have it.
Yes, so true.
It's a real shame. But Instagram is where you have people kind of get you, and Are you going to be starting a Patreon? Are you going to be starting anything like that? Would you kind of like, no?
I think I'd have to start like a solo podcast or something.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever done a solo pod?
No, I talk to people. I mean, I know John Maher's just started one, which is just kind of talking. But John's a talker. He can really do Bill Burr kind of to camera. He'll always have something
And
to
what's
say.
his face has got a great one. John Hastings.
Yeah, John Hastings, but he's a talker. Often you'll talk to John, and like it's not that you can't get a word in edgeways. It's just like he'll talk at you for an hour. He's quite happy to but he's that kind of person. Like, and I find it hard. I need simpatico. I need somebody there.
Yeah, someone else to bounce off. Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
But it's tough. You do it on your own. You still want to be your brother.
He would hate that. He would never do it. He would never ever do it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Patreon right now. No, I just. Why would you? Why would you subscribe to me right now? You've got to offer people something with Patreon.
But I mean, like, but I think that. But I also think that. If you create for a living, you don't often value it. And so I think that's one of the challenges, is to value what you do. Because I find the people that do, Trump is an extreme example, but do puff their chest out and go, I'm worth it. Those are the people that actually do well. It's like...
That's my worst nightmare.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that is actually my worst... I'm like, if you like it, whatever. That is actually genuinely my worst. Being like, I'm worth this, my time.
But there is that, you kind of have to believe, and other people do. But it's funny because you can get on stage and be funny, but you don't also, we all look like we are comfortable. And most comedians aren't.
No.
Sometimes, I mean, it's nice in the green room, but often we're awkward fuckers.
Oh,
we're good. We're better with each other, but with other people we're not.
You don't do this because you
Yeah, you're socially competent.
No. It's just you failed at school, or like you're. Well, I always say this about comedians. Like, there's the old shoehorn theory, isn't it? And it's like it's comedians come in two brackets. One, you were either crap at absolutely everything, right, and you do comedy because you're crap at everything. Or you were so amazing at anything, and like if you weren't a comedian, you'd probably be like a hedge fund manager, right? But weirdly, we both met at the same spot. That's the beauty of comedy.
Yeah. You've basically got your Jimmy Carrs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And your Johnny Vegases,
exactly.
Right? But it's funny because some people, like Jimmy Carr, is very efficient. But there's a lot more joy in Johnny Vegas.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's funny, isn't it? You can laugh at both, but there is in between. It's like Jerry Seinfeld. You've got Jerry Seinfeld, very efficient comedian, but then you've got kind of, Andy Kaufman or somebody like Robin Williams. Just like, But listen, thank you very much for coming on, and I really appreciate it. It's fucking lovely to see it. I don't know why I've with guests, I've not shook the hand at the beginning or the end with anybody else, but I don't know why I've made it so formal with you. Awfully nice having you on.
Good.
But thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much. Good night.